Hello, class, and greetings to all of you. Hopefully, you're enjoying marketing management. We are now in week 2. I know week 1 has been a lot of discoveries. You've discovered new knowledge, you've discovered new information, and of course, some challenges. And that's the nature of education. If it's not challenging, you're not learning. So, what we're going to discuss in week 2 has to be with market information, research, and also forecasting demand. And so, as you know, business makes decisions every day. Some of those decisions are emotional based. Some of those decisions are known as gut feelings. But good decisions are made with good information, and strategists normally use information as opposed to emotion. Because the difference with brainstorming, emotion, and good feelings or gut feelings is you and I feeling out our own emotions, and we make decisions based on how we feel. So the question is this: do you think marketer or customers feel the same way we feel? We're looking at things from a seller's perspective. They're looking at things from a buyer's perspective. We're looking at stuff from revenue generation. They're looking at it from a satisfaction perspective. And so the need for research, the need for the collection of good information cannot be overstated. It's absolutely necessary that we work with information that is applicable and that is valid. So the outline for this specific lecture, we're going to look at the importance and validity of information. We will also look at the source of information. Where is this information coming from? And we will also look at the use of information. We don't want to do stuff just to do stuff. We want to do stuff that has relevance to the business and that adds to the continuous growth. So that's where the use of information comes in. So how will we use this information? We're going to use it to develop plans and strategies, understand customer needs and wants, forecast demand, and also measuring marketing productivity. So first on our agenda, we're going to look at the importance of valid and relevant information. Now, information is all over. As the saying goes, we are living in an information age. It's an information society. You can get it from Google. You can get it from your iPhone. You can get it from your neighbor. You can get it from anywhere. But the big question is this: is that usable information? Is that information considered to be valid? Is that information timely? Is that information relevant to what you and I need to do? So when you look at the responsibility of a business, and specifically in the segment of marketing, those questions are extremely important because we can get out there and we can beat the streets every day. We can call customers every day. We can present products. We can develop websites. We can modify our websites. But if dollars are not coming in, revenue is not growing, customers are not coming back to do business with us, we need to question ourselves. And a lot of times that question comes right back to: what are we working with? What is the quality of that information? What is the timeliness of that information? What's the validity of that information? What is that information telling us in order for us to now develop the strategy we need and to apply it into the marketplace? So it's very important that we deal with valid information. As the saying goes, good decisions are made with good information, and bad decisions are made with not so good information. Okay, so this information represents two very important components. It represents a qualitative component, meaning to say you can't really see numbers, but it has a lot to do with quality. It has a lot to do with quality of products, and it has a lot to do with how customers make decisions. It's not easy to determine how customer makes a decision because we can't get into their head. We can't just read body language and hope that we would learn enough from that customer. But obviously, over time, as we look at trends, as we look at behavior, as we look at patterns, we were able to develop sequences of qualitative information. And you look at the percentage to where repeatable processes or repeatable behaviors are. And of course, that's what we're going to do. Look at those things in order to incorporate those behaviors into our decision-making process. The other segment is the opposite to qualitative, which is quantitative. We need to look at the numbers. Is sales increasing? Is sales decreasing? Is the price being pressured to decrease? And so once we have those numbers, we can compare numbers, we can compare to our goals, we can compare to our target, and we'll be able to determine, are we on target? Are we not on target? Is there something wrong? Is there something right about what we're doing? And we were able to make decisions quite appropriately. So we know those valid, timely information is important. The question is, where are we going to get it from? Now, one of the easiest place to get this information happens to be internal to the company. If you go to a lot of retail stores, you would discover that that cash register is not just a transaction machine. It is also a data mining system. It collects information, it keeps it. Back office people look at that information on a constant scale to determine which are the best days that customer comes in, how frequently does a particular customer comes in, and what product are they actually buying. And so internal information is extremely important. So we track sales record, we look at data mining processes, and so forth. Now, in addition to internal, we also have external. External information comes in several forms, but we are going to discuss two, where you, the marketing people, or probably a company that you may contract, or the information that you may buy in terms of surveys. You will survey your customer to get their point of view, to get their voice into how they want to be treated, so we can incorporate that in the plan. There's also a very important set of data that is necessary to be considered, and that is governmental data. We live in a country where government data are coming out every week. And so, do you need to know anything about consumer confidence? That's information that comes from the government. Do you need to know about housing starts? That's information coming from the government. We get information on GDP, we get information on employment, we get information on wage increase or wage decrease, we get information on many things that relates to the customers, many things that relates to the economy. That gives you an idea as to, is the economy increasing, or is the economy stagnant, or is the economy decreasing? That helps us to make decisions as it relates to inventory management, investment in new processes or projects or distribution moving forward. So it's very important that we collect these information. We make decisions based on the information that we have available to us. So how do we use this information? Besides, we know it needs to be used in making decisions, and that's one of management's most important responsibility, making decisions. But of course, it's not with the snap of a finger, but make decisions in order to attain certain pre-established goals that the company has established. So how do we use this information? First of all, to forecast and any form of demand within the marketplace, to forecast where the economy is going, to forecast where your target audience, what your target audience may be purchasing, to able to have a sense of understanding on the demand. If company has a sense of understanding on the demand side, the type of products, the amount of products, the kind of money that customers are spending, they would be able to manage their inventory quite appropriately. They would have the right products, they would have the right price, they would have the right package together. But if that knowledge is not there, then forecasting is just an academic exercise based on, we want 5% increase or we want 10% increase. But how are we going to get the 10% or 5%? It is just a number. Without not having a sense of understanding, is the marketplace able to produce that result? Is the marketplace condition at this point in time, is the condition right for us to go for a 5 or 6 or maybe 2% increase? So information helps us to forecast, help us to determine demand, help us now to rationalize our plans on a much more present scale base. The other thing about this information, you can't just live on the same target audience. You know, we have to expand our target audience. And so expanding target audience may probably mean also expanding your product portfolio. And so that's where plan, that's where your information comes in as to what additional products can I bring in, which additional group of customer can I go after. Those are all part of the plan to produce growth in revenue stream, because your existing customer can only spend so much money. They can only come back so often to your business. They can only buy so much products from you. And where would that growth come from? We have to bring in new customers. New customers need new things. They need different products. They buy products quite differently. And this information would help us to able now to understand that audience so we can determine how best we can serve that group of customers. The other thing about that we can look at this information and gain some knowledge is the durability of demand. Meaning to say the timeline, is this a fad that would last for 6 months? Is this a trend that is going to last for a year, 2 years, 3 years? Is this something that is worth investing now because we have significant future period of time in order to generate payback? And so that information will tell us whether it's just a fad, whether it's a fashion, whether it's a trend, whether it's a mega trend, and how we should invest and what's the payback period of that investment. Another use of this information is what I describe as time-based strategy. Time-based strategy has to do with the future, has to do with the present. And so we can take time and we can break it down in immediate, intermediate, and long term. And so we can take our plans now and bring it right down into the immediate. The question is, can I use information to able to determine how I should position my product today, or how I should price my product today. So here's an example to you, okay? Companies that sell pizza, and there are a lot of these people are all around United States. But they know that there are only 3 days where pizza is high in demand. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Do you think they will give you a discount on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Do you think they will have enough dough and enough ingredients in place to ensure that those demands are satisfied? They can't afford to lose Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But then what happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Demand is low. Does it mean that they should close their door? No, it means that they should still sell pizza. And so those are the times that they may probably incentivize purchasing now by offering low priced, or offering coupons, or offering some form of promotion. And this is that immediacy of time-based strategy that we're speaking about. Additionally, and most important, is the measuring of marketing productivity, because if we invest all this money, spend all this time collecting all this information, develop all this strategy, and we're not producing significant returns or sufficient returns, then quite obviously everything is in vain, and so the return on investment is not being there. So one of this internal aspect of research and also information analysis is to measure marketing productivity. And so one of those things that we're going to look at is the combination of product brand and company's brand. People do business with people they like. People do business with company they like, especially in a place or in an environment where there are significant choices. So company has to develop their brand. That brand must mean something, the way they present themselves out into the public. And so we have to be able to measure, how does the public feels about your brand, and not just your customer and your product, but how does the company feels? Are you a good corporate citizen? Are you not a good corporate citizen? Secondly, also is the brand of products, the brand of products within that business organization. How does your customer feels about a brand? Are they intimately connected? Does the brand mean something to them? Does the brand do something for them? Is that does it enhance their image? Does it enhance their status? And so brand is extremely important, because it is identification of some form of value, and customers like to be associated with brands that makes them feel good emotionally, and also gives them this sense of interaction and satisfaction with their customer base. The other thing that we're going to look at is customer satisfaction, and also the opposite, which is complaint. Yes, we want our customer to be happy, but we want to hear back from them whether they're not, and what we can do to ensure that the continuation of their sense of excitement. On the other side of the coin, we want to hear from customers who are not pleased and unhappy. Now, there are certain people you would never able to please, and those are not customers that you want to spend time investing money and investing good human resource into. Some people are miserable by nature, cut them, let them go. But then you have customers who has unique complaints. And so the promise that we made was not matched with the performance of delivery or the consumption of product. We need to listen to those complaints. We need to take it seriously, and we need to able to answer those customers quite affirmatively. But again, that's a source of information collection. And finally, you grow this business by repeating customers. And so this whole retention program, we can put it in two categories: the occasional repeat purchaser and also the loyal repeat purchaser. Loyal folks are individuals who are really connected to your company and to your brand. They're supporters of your company. They are promoters of your brand. And a lot of companies do have loyalty programs where that relationship grows through strength and through incentives, where those customers can also get some form of incentive for their loyalty. And so if you take a company like Starbucks, Starbucks look at a customer who comes to their place at least half of a month, 17 times within any given month, and that customer is described as a loyal customer. The question is, do they want to lose the customer? The answer is no. They don't want to lose any customer, specifically that one who's spending 17 or buying 17 cups of coffee. The question is, what will they do in order to move them up to 20? What will they do in order to bring them back? So the utilization of information in this whole strategic sense of building companies with your public, with your customers, is very important that we collect those information on a regular, timely basis. And finally, we will look at something that is part of marketing analytics that is known as marketing mix modeling. And so what does marketing mix modeling means? It's how do you use what is traditionally known as your 4 Ps: your products, your price, your promotion, and also that P that has to do with distribution. So some people call it now place and space, whether you have a physical place, retail, or whether you have a virtual, which is online based, which is space. And so marketing mix modeling now takes this whole comprehensive component and put them together. You look at it individually, but you have to look at it comprehensively, because you're dealing with a system that now engages that customer from the advertising message to the now emotional connection, right down to the product offering and the affordability of pricing and so forth. Now, what do we do with these things? Unfortunately, you have to measure each one. You may have great price. You may have a really, really good advertising message that connects with the customer. You may have very good distribution system. But what happens if the product quality is considered to be not sufficient, it's subpar, it is not where it should be compared to that of the competition? Are we able to connect to total satisfaction from our customer perspective? And so this modeling system comes in where you look at all 4. But what happens if you have a great product? You have a great price, you have good distribution. Well, we don't promote, we don't advertise, we don't create a sense of awareness into the marketplace. People don't know. This is what they call the greatest hidden secret. And that's not good. So all 4 must be identified individually. The effectiveness must be measured individually. And then we need to put it together comprehensively as a program. But obviously, the individuality of each one of those segments from this marketing mix perspective requires now that we spend time to look at each one, because continuous improvement is the requirement now of building sustainability with your business. And so we continually improve our relationship with customers by collecting the information, analyzing the information, use it to make good, solid decisions as we build this company and move forward in our growth-oriented strategy. Thank you very much.